Have you ever looked at your bank account at the end of the month and wondered, where did all my money go? You work hard. You wake up early, sit through long meetings, deal with deadlines, and put in 40, sometimes even 50 hours a week. Every year, your salary goes up a little, but somehow life keeps getting more expensive, even faster. Rent goes up. Groceries cost more, car insurance costs more, and buying a house feels almost impossible. The life your parents built on a normal income now feels completely out of reach. So, if we're working harder, earning more, and doing everything we were told to do, why does getting rich feel harder than ever? Did we do something wrong? Or did the rules of the game quietly change? Because for millions of Americans, it feels like the game is broken. Think about it. You graduate from college. Maybe you take on student loans because everyone tells you education is the path to success. You find a decent job, work hard, save what you can, avoid unnecessary risks, and do exactly what society tells you to do. But a few years later, reality hits. Your rent eats up a huge part of your paycheck. Your grocery bill somehow costs twice what it used to. Your car insurance goes up, healthcare gets more expensive, and every time you think you're finally making progress, another unexpected expense shows up. It almost feels like you're running on a treadmill. You're moving, you're exhausted, but somehow you're not actually getting anywhere. And the strange part is, this isn't just happening to you. Millions of Americans feel exactly the same way. So what changed? Why does it feel like our parents could build a stable life on an ordinary income, while today, even a good salary doesn't feel like enough? Well, to understand that, we have to go back a few decades. For a long time, the American dream followed a simple formula: study hard, get a good job, work honestly, buy a home, raise a family, and retire comfortably. And for many people, that formula actually worked. It wasn't perfect, but the basic path made sense. Then, slowly, the world changed. The cost of the things people need the most, homes, education, healthcare, childcare, and even everyday essentials, started rising faster than ordinary wages. Yes, salaries increased too, but for many families, the cost of living increased even faster. Imagine getting a small raise at work only to watch your rent increase by even more. Your grocery bill gets bigger, insurance gets more expensive, and the dream of buying a home moves further away every single year. On paper, you're earning more money. In real life, it doesn't feel that way. And this is where many people start blaming themselves. Maybe I'm not working hard enough. Maybe I chose the wrong career. Maybe everyone else figured something out that I missed. But here's the truth almost nobody talks about. You're not competing in the same economy your parents grew up in. You're playing a completely different game. Today, simply earning money is often not enough, because while most people work for money, the wealthiest people own things that grow in value: businesses, stocks, real estate, assets. While one person is working 40 or 50 hours every week for a paycheck, another person is making money because the assets they own continue to increase in value. Over time, that gap becomes enormous. This is one of the biggest reasons why so many people feel stuck. They're trying to win today's financial game using yesterday's rules. Now, don't get this wrong. Hard work still matters. It absolutely does. But hard work alone is no longer the complete answer. Imagine two friends. They're both 25 years old. They graduate together, get similar jobs, and earn almost the same salary. The first person spends almost every extra dollar upgrading their lifestyle: a nicer car, a bigger apartment, the latest phone, and more expensive clothes. Small upgrades that don't seem like much at the time. The second person lives a little below their means. They build an emergency fund, learn about investing, and slowly begin buying assets instead of liabilities. 5 years pass. Their salaries might still look similar, but their financial lives look completely different. One is working just to maintain a lifestyle. The other is slowly building freedom. And here's the crazy part. Most people don't notice these small decisions because the results are invisible at first. We also live in a world where looking rich has never been easier. Open social media and you'll see luxury vacations, expensive watches, dream cars, and beautiful homes. But social media rarely shows the debt. It rarely shows the stress. It rarely shows the credit card balances or the sleepless nights. A lot of people aren't actually getting richer. They're just getting better at looking rich. And that creates even more pressure. You start comparing your behind the scenes life to someone else's highlight reel, and you wonder why everyone seems to be getting ahead while you're falling behind. But the truth is, many of those people are asking themselves the exact same question. So, if the old rules don't work the same way anymore, what should we do? The answer isn't to give up. The answer isn't to believe that building wealth is impossible. The answer is to understand the new game. The first step is realizing that your income is only one part of the equation. The second step is controlling lifestyle inflation, because every time your income grows, the temptation to upgrade everything grows with it. And the third step is focusing on ownership, because over the long run, wealth is usually built not only by what you earn, but by what you own. You don't have to become a millionaire overnight. You don't need to predict the next big investment, and you don't need to be perfect. You simply need to stop playing by rules that no longer exist. The biggest financial advantage today isn't being the smartest person in the room. It's understanding that the world changed and being willing to adapt. So, if you've been working hard but still feel like you're falling behind, if you've ever wondered why life feels so much more expensive than it should, or if you've ever thought that maybe you failed, maybe you didn't, maybe the game changed while nobody was paying attention. And once you realize that, you can stop blaming yourself and start learning the new rules. Because the people who build wealth in the future won't necessarily be the people who work the hardest. They'll be the people who understand how the game is actually played. And that might be the most important financial lesson of our generation.